trees. I keep on going, thinking I'll see more. Look to my dirt floor, can't believe what I saw. They were bigger than my head and printed bear paw. Should I go on, be strong, fight the bear to the death? I guess I could be wrong.
Welcome to another episode of Harbor City Local TV, powered by Space Coast Podcast. Today we're hanging out with Tony from Island Root Kava and Brian from Paging Mr. Herman and My Dearest Friend. You just heard a bit of Paging Mr. Herman. Welcome to the show, fellas.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
We're talking about Space Coast Music Festival a bit today, as well as everything else going on in our lives. So we'll get to Tony. Tony, you've been a big part of what Harbor City Local's been doing and what everyone's been doing really in the community around here. I see Island Root Kava Bar show up on a lot of sponsorship. So what drives you to be so connected with the community here in our arts district?
Well, that's my goal, is helping out the community and bringing the community together and giving back to the locals and developing this community of family with everybody, for everybody to come out and have fun. And I love the downtown O'Galley, the events that you put together. So I'm all for it to help out and help promote.
Yeah, I see on Screamland, you helped out a lot with Punk in the Park, and you're sponsoring a stage, and it's going to house a lot of our punk rock and metal bands this year. Now, you have, so EGAD is the newest location, is that right?
No, the one out there in Suntree, Vieira area would be the third one that I have here in Brevard County. That would be the newest one around here.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know you had one in Suntree.
Yeah, it's right off of Wickham Road. Yep.
So as soon as you get one established, it's just on to the next one, huh?
Pretty much,
Awesome.
If I see something an area that's in need of one to help the community, and I can see a potential of people that would like the vibe that I promote and bring to the community, what people would like, and that's where I look for. That's what, certain areas like that.
So where did Island Root Kava Bar start?
The first one is in downtown Melbourne. Mm-hmm. I've been there for 12 years. January will be 12 years.
Man, it's already been 12 years.
Yeah, I moved up here about 12 years. I moved up here about 14 years ago, mm-hmm. And down in West Palm, there's a couple kava bars. There's only two of them in the whole United States, and it was like nobody knew what it was. Kind of like underground kind of thing, know. And it was the downtown area that you when you weren't going to the clubs or the bars or drinking, you went and hung out at that place, and it was just a real chill atmosphere. And I really liked the vibe of people there. And So once I moved up here about 14 years ago, I kind of missed that vibe and that friendship of the community that they developed down there. And I said, I need to put a kava bar together downtown. And, this time, it was 2011 when I put this one together in downtown Melbourne. And, the economy was down, a lot of foreclosed homes, a lot of problems with financial problems and economics. And there was people that, I could see that would love to have kava. So I found a spot downtown, and I realized that, what I was doing is I'm trying to sell something that tastes like dirty water to some people, and I'm going to do it when the economy's down, but I believe in it, and I was very passionate about what I was doing. So I started doing the build out in 2011 and opened up January 28th of 2012, and I've just been going at it ever since. And I love seeing people there and seeing people happy, and the community that's developed to the open mic nights that I have at all three of my locations. So we have trivia night, we have open mic night, we have chess. We have so many good things. Yes, chess every Wednesday in the downtown bar.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know if you've seen my tattoo, but yeah, I'm in. That's amazing. And your locations are, I don't know if it was luck or what, or just being on the ball, but your locations are pretty great.
Yeah, I'm pretty picky. I do a lot of demographics before I pick out my areas of an area. Before I make my decision where,
because they are comfortable. They're corner lots, they're, it seems to create that vibe you're talking about. Now, when you're bringing something like this to an area, like I know nothing about Kava. It's like you just said, basically the dirty water aspect.
Right.
I had a friend that drank Kava, and we went and tried it. So when you're bringing something new like that to a community, like how do you get people to, like, do you have to hope that they've had it before and just kind of spread the word, or is there a level of promotion and education that you really have to go through?
Part of it's a little bit everything you're saying, the education and the atmosphere. It's not just getting a Kava and leaving. It's the community of people together and communicating and talking. And it's not always the first time you try it. It's kind of like you got to hang out for a couple hours to really understand the atmosphere and what Kava really is about.
And, I imagine that's, that was my expectation with pretty much everything. Like when I started drinking alcohol, like it wasn't like great the first time I tried that.
Yeah. Same thing.
Yeah. But it's getting a coffee, whatever it is.
Yeah,
it's it's just getting into it. I do remember when you opened up down there in 2011 ish, and you pretty much right off the bat started getting into the local music a bit.
Yeah.
Local 518 would play there,
Yep.
and some guys from the Brevard Busking Coalition and Orangutango would play there, and and it really, if you understand those bands, then you understand that vibe. It's some funk, it's some jazz, it's some rock, it's a little bit of everything.
Brevard Busking, they were so good.
Yeah,
So good.
yeah. Was that like how did you get hooked up with that element? Because it's a perfect element for what you're doing.
It just went good together. And one of my customers for a long time helped me get that promoted was David Pistorius.
Yeah.
And that really helped me to build out with the bands and the music, and I saw it was a hit. And then I realized I'm going to start doing this more often, get more involved with bands.
Excellent. Now, we've talked about how we got started here a little bit, but we still haven't really talked about Kava. Can you educate people on exactly what Kava is?
Sure. What Kava's been around for about 3,000 years. It's it's founded in Vanuatu, Papua New Guinea, Tonga, Fiji, Hawaii, the South Pacific Islands, and it's a root of a Kava plant that grows wild out there in the islands. And Kava's been used for insomnia, anxiety, stress, social anxiety, and it gives you a really relaxed feeling. And when I felt that feeling of calmness and relaxed feeling, but it didn't affect my mental clarity, I felt like, oh, wow, I like this. And that's what I wanted to feel, not so anxious or high strung as it is. And it calmed me down to help me stay more focused too.
Excellent. So it's a Kava root. What can you do with that essentially? Like, do you just, here's a Kava drink, or can you blend? Is there flavors?
What I do is a lot of times now, especially where, I started off kind of as a joke as the dirty water, but a lot of people think they drink it and that's what they think the first thing. But I have so many different types of Kava, and then we have a special that we have at every location that we add some good flavors to it now. And what we do is for the health nutrition factors is where you can have more vitamins, nutrients. What we do is we grind up some fruit, we use our juicers, and we mix it together. Then we knead it and we grind it and everything, and we mix it together. I mean, we'll have from a peanut butter and jelly with real grapes and real peanut butter, peanut butter inside of our Kava. We'll have mangoes in season with habaneros. We'll chop up habaneros and mangoes. It tastes really good, and you still get the effect of that calmness. So, another thing is you can find Kava at any health stores in the United States except for GNC. GNC is the only one that doesn't care about all the other big names and the big franchise companies. They all have it. You go down the aisle and down any health store for anxiety, and you're going to see Kava in capsules. It's for at every location.
So I mean, there's a lot of purpose to
Oh yeah.
this. If you're just looking to have a good time and get to know a community, you know, it's there. You talked about some of your special events, and we'll get into more of those. The aspect of the calming and the, you know, not so much taking you out of your head, but putting you in a better state, I guess.
Yeah.
Or the health side of it, you know. So there's a lot of purpose here that I wasn't even really, you know, understanding. You know, for the common person that has no idea what Kava is, you know, it's easy to be ignorant.
Yep.
And to, you know, call it a hippie drink, basically.
Right.
You know?
That's why I'm drinking it, actually.
Yeah.
I thought that's what it was.
Yeah.
No, it's good. I have a question. Do you think being a beach community helps that? Like, do you think Kava bars do as well in like city areas?
Absolutely.
Like,
It's the new vibe. I think what's
okay.
happening is there's some people that might not want to go to the bars and drink and stand around and get, you know, that hangover the next day and
deal
feel
with
like,
those
or
people.
deal with that crowd.
Yeah.
And they're driving. They're like, you know, I want to go out and do something, but I want to do something and chill. I have games at all my locations. And,
that's a big thing.
Yeah, so you can come in there and if it's trivia night, if it's chess night, if it's open mic night, plus some of the board games that we have there that people can sit around and play. A lot of people bring their computers in there. We have a lot of from engineers from all of the big engineering companies around here. They come there and they work there, all on their computers. I have such a big, different crowd of people. You know.
Cool.
Yeah, it's always diverse. You know, you allow pets. You know, you have the games. You know, you're every time I'm there, it seems like a different vibe. You know, and from student pilots, you know, chatting about, you know, all kinds of, you know, testing to, those solopreneurs, you know, just working from the laptop. It's like a new coffee shop.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a whole new vibe, but it's like more little, you know, new age and what coffee shops used to be 20 years ago.
Yeah, everybody's really friendly there. It's like, you know, it's a very humble area. People are very chill, relaxed. Everybody gets along. You know, there's no, you know, go to a bar, there's a little tension in there. You come to my Kava bars, you're going to feel relaxed. You know, you're going to leave there smiling and being happy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think I've been to 3 of your locations, Melbourne, the Suntree, and the O'Galley.
That's what I have here in Brevard.
I drove by the Stewart one.
Yeah.
You know,
okay, great.
But I was on my way to a concert, and, you know, at Terra Firmata.
Terra Firmata next door,
Exactly. So I was like, there's a Stewart location, you know. So, yeah, you're everywhere, man.
Yeah,
It's exciting.
And I have a business partner, John Sheely, down there in Palm Beach County, and we have 5 locations down there. And,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So how many total? Is it 8 total?
We have 8 total.
8 total.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all
Yeah.
over.
Yeah. Yep.
So I mean, it sounds like you have a template business plan. It's like it's more about location.
Yeah.
And then creation.
Yeah, location and helping the community and bringing a family together of that we call our Kava community as our family, you know, and we have our big anniversaries every year. And it's just such a good gathering. I love to come in and I see everybody smiling and happy and laughing. And you know, they're not always to have to be drinking to be having fun and to be laughing, you know, and it's like, it's great.
Just the vibe. Like,
well, and you know, as an educator, you know, we learn a lot about the kids and then the young adults and where the progression of generations go. And the younger generations really are looking for things to do that are not alcohol involved.
Yeah.
Do you see that as a driving force of your growth, or do you see the energy and the atmosphere you create as the force of the growth? A little bit of both, you know.
A little bit of both, you know, and I see that future because it's not just a younger crowd. Like if you went to my bars in the morning, you're going to see some retirees sitting at my bar every morning. It's for, the coffee crew, we call them, you know, and they're either drinking coffee and some of the Kava or the teas that I have, and it's like a community. That's their family, you know. So.
Yeah, well, everybody needs like something like a country club, you know, somewhere to call home, you know, where everybody kind of knows your name, and that's why, you know, even like Moose Lodges and all these other things, it's just a way for you to be familiar and have a little place, you know, but the culture has gone. Like there's like, you know, Bula Babes, you know, there's you know, there's like there's people who actually celebrate it, and they tour, they do like Kava reviews. I mean, it's really elevating to kind of like that coffee status.
Yeah. There's when I first started and opened this one up here, I had a little bit of fear. I think fear pushed me to promote my business and to get it out there and recognized to people. And by the time I opened up mine, the one downtown Melbourne, 1900 Municipal Lane, downtown Melbourne, was probably about the 6th or 7th Kava bar in the whole United States. Today, there's got to be well over 300 Kava bars throughout the United States now.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, talk about frontier.
Right.
I mean, really like paving the way. And
I look at that and I love walking into other Kava bars, and I see the energy and the vibe there and what they've created, and just amazing. It's
So do you see the other bars like that competition as, the way, alcohol bars or coffee shops, there's almost kind of a bit of a camaraderie, and the more that it becomes popular in public is good for you, or do you not really interact with other?
We kind of interact with other ones too. They the camaraderie and the other Kava bars opening up helps you to come up with more ideas and
stay relevant.
Stay relevant. Yeah. Don't get too complacent and comfortable with what you have. It helps push you. Yeah.
Well, I'd love to see a 8-store chess tournament myself, in all honesty.
I'm a checkers guy.
Checkers.
Checkers
Well,
guy.
some
Keep
of us
it
play
simple.
checkers, some of us play chess.
Yeah, I beat my kids at it a lot. They're 7 and 10, so it's been pretty tough lately.
Excellent. So bula everywhere. What does that mean?
Well, hold your shells up. These are our cups. They usually come in shells in the islands of Fiji, Vanuatu, Papua New Guinea, Tonga. They use coconut shells, but for a standardized reason, we usually have those plastic shells at my bar. And
I like the pineapple garnish. That's always a nice.
Oh, that's always a little chaser at the end.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because of the taste. So what they do is you stir it up because it'll start settling, and they hold the shells up like this. And they say bula, and what bula means is long life and good health. And with that, I'm going to raise the cup. Bula.
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 I don't think it tastes like dirty water, by the way. It has a
really
good
earthy.
little after taste.
Yeah, there's no preservatives, there's nothing in it.
And you get that mouth tingle,
And
sensation.
that's the
kinda nice.
Kava lactone inside of there that's giving you that numbness in your mouth that works through your body, and that's what kind of relaxes you, that numbness.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So before I was a educator, I was actually a chef. And are there any cooking elements to these types of ideas? Is anyone doing any sort of, like you can put
Like a
alcohol in
recipe?
something, you can put coffee in something, you can,
Like a Kava cake instead of a rum cake.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've tried so many different ways. Like
Yeah.
I used to have popsicles and with fruit and stuff.
Yeah.
When we grind up some fruit and
Nice.
mix it in there with some Kava,
Yeah.
and you drink it, your mouth goes numb.
Yeah.
But nothing's better than just drinking straight Kava
Yeah.
and a group of people and talking and just telling stories, drinking Kava together. It's
Well, that's a ceremony that
It is.
the Islanders.
it's
kind
a
of
ceremonial
covet.
drink they get together for. Yeah. Yep.
Yes, when you can bring that culture and introduce it to other people, and especially with like very little side effect, kind of euphoric feeling, and they're able to do something that's maybe off the beaten path.
Yep.
Not as popular as the coffee or your alcohol establishments. This is something totally unique, and not everybody needs a big caffeine high or a sedative alcohol buzz.
Right.
Sometimes people just want to just be social.
Yep.
Well, and you're right, and I think that's the big part of the younger generations is, the again, as maybe I'm becoming an old man, I don't know.
Yes.
But the
We all are.
Younger generations, they rebel against older generations, and
I think they want to do the opposite of whatever their parents
right,
are doing. Yeah.
There's this anti-alcohol, everything. They're trying to create their own culture.
Yeah.
Essentially, and I'm noticing that with the when I drive by the Kava bars and stuff, it's a young crowd there. I know you say you got a mix, but I mean it's pretty interesting to see.
It gets real young on the weekend nights.
Yeah. I guess that's it.
Because
Yeah.
it's alternative for those under 21.
Yeah.
But it's not really. You'll be surprised at how many people that we have that are in their mid-20s to their 30s that are there all night. You know, what happens is there's a lot of people that are in the morning time. We get the older crowd and throughout the day, and the guys come in there and they do all their work on their computer using my Wi-Fi, and they get a lot done, you know, and that's a lot older crowd. And I'm talking probably, you know, up to, you know, people that are 70 years old that are hanging out there. And that's daytime. As the nighttime starts approaching and 5, 6 o'clock, they start leaving, and we get a little slow period, and it starts picking back up where we get that younger crowd coming in. Kind of like when you were younger, you used to go out at night and, you know, get all rowdy and stuff. But it gives them an alternative, somewhere to go, and let it out. Have fun there and play cornhole over at O'Galley. You know?
Well, you know, and then you got to consider some of the families. You know, they don't want to go into an alcohol establishment and have their kids exposed to, you know, swearing or whatever may have you. know, just loudness. You know, maybe a little bit of obnoxiousness. But you know, you take them to the Island Kava bar, and they got, you know, cornhole and everything else you guys, you know, have available, and all the board games, and it's very friendly.
Yeah, it's a great gathering. Yeah.
And all the locations are really cool. All decorated with, like, you know, little surf vibe.
Yeah.
You know, I got to mention, you know, you have been a huge supporter of the Eco Pro Surf Series, and another season just finished. So you really penetrate the market, and I really feel like you do a good job, you know, with the music, the surfing, the product, you know, the locations. Everything has a vibe to it, and to incorporate all those elements is something you guys have been very successful with, and I dig it.
Yeah.
Well,
I see. I just want it to get out there to get recognized, because I believe in Kava, and I believe that it's helped me, and it'll help numerous other people out there. There's alternatives if somebody doesn't want to go drink and they want to do something else, instead of not just locked in their house, and they want to go do something, feel safe. You can come to my Kava bars, and you'll feel safe and leave happy.
100%.
And that's something that I was really kind of looking for a bit. You know, I spent, again, 20 years in food service and bars, and you know, and when we were young, you know, you're always seeking out the cheapest bar, really, so that you can, you know, get your, you know, whatever. But the Kava establishment, it doesn't seem to have that, you know, negativity to it. You know, I know I don't look back on my childhood as a negativity, and maybe I shouldn't look back on my childhood with alcohol drinking anyways, but it was. So just that positive vibe is interesting, and I'm talking basically about my own ignorance here. You know, learning more about Kava, learning more about what this is and where it's coming from, because when you opened up in downtown Melbourne, I was managing a bar down there, kitchen of a bar down there, and you'd hear it. You know, have you been to the hippie place around the corner? Have you been to the hippie place? You know, and it's easy just to kind of, you know, go no, and that's not my culture,
right?
You know, but as you learn more about this, and as things have gotten more popular, it's easy to write stuff off, and you're missing the boat on something really fun. You know, so kudos.
It's very cool.
Thank you.
So
I never heard of it until I moved to Florida. I never heard of Kava. And
this
that
is where
makes
it all
sense
started.
because,
Was here in South Florida.
If you had
and
6 stores in the United States, that's probably why. Now there's, you said 200-300.
There's got to be 300 or so or more.
It's amazing that something from South Pacific would start in Florida.
And it all happened with a gentleman named Jeff Bowman, and he went out to the islands one time and experienced what Kava was, and he brought it back. And the first Kava bar is from Boca Raton, Florida.
Wow! And
it was the Knack, and was the name of it. And he's the one that got it started. You know, they call him like the Kava god for bringing it here. You know? Let us recognize it. He recognized it, brought it here, awesome. And it was a good hit. Everybody loves it.
Yeah.
I remember seeing footage of you know, some world surfers, you know, touring, you know, South Pacific, and they would do a ritual, and they do like a clap, and they lift it, and you know, and it was like what are they doing? Some ceremonious thing, and they're like, oh yeah, it's this, and then you don't hear about it until then. It kind of became more mainstream, and then all of a sudden, everybody was kind of trying it. More and more people that went to the islands, whether it's to surf or to just find adventure and be a tourist, but they would bring these experiences back. Like, you guys got to try this. We had a great time. It didn't taste that great, but the locals loved it, and we had it every night as a ritual. And now you see it, and people are enjoying it. Yeah. And they're like Kava heads, like they're lifting bowls like all the time. Bula, all night long.
Yeah, that's it's Volcom Pro. They have it every year, and that's at Chopu.
Chopu, yeah.
Yeah. And that's that big ceremony before the contest starts, and they all gather around. And
it seems like
Kelly Slater there drinking Kava. You see all the pros, the well-known names.
Yeah.
Can you drink too much? Can you take too much?
That's a good question.
Coffee
yeah,
and
just
stuff,
like anything else, you can. You can have an upset stomach if you drink too much, but you kind of know your limit, know?
Yeah. I just was wondering that 'cause I've had way too much coffee one day, and that was upset stomach. And
and that's kind of what it would do too. Upset stomach if you drink too much of it. Yes.
Yeah, well, we're drinking it here, and actually feeling great.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's very
nice. Well, a pint, 20 ounces at a time.
Yeah.
Just enough.
Yeah.
But you could overdo it like anything else.
I've never had it before, and it's definitely a nice feeling. It tastes great. So.
Yeah.
When someone comes to these Kava bars, is there a level of learning about that South Pacific culture too?
We have a lot of brochures about it. We talk about it and explain it, and we respect the South Pacific Islands. So I always make sure that we address that and that where it came from, out of respect for the Polynesians.
Yeah,
because you source right from those islands. Logistically, how hard is that? Were you the first importer? I mean, is it coming?
I wasn't. We where it all started. From what down south in South Florida where it started. They started bringing it in, and that's pretty much what happened. They brought it in down there, and we jumped in with on the wagon to import it through with them and stuff at first.
Yeah, because that's fantastic. Because I'm sure those local island economies having like a decent export of something is probably it's feeding a lot of families.
Yeah, I mean a lot of those islands, 2/3 of their income is from Kava now.
Wow.
That's an economic driver.
That's huge.
Yeah,
wow.
It is huge.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah.
To where you look back, say 10 years ago, it was nowhere near that.
Yeah.
It really has helped boost their economy.
That's exciting.
So they're down there now, making it rain.
You're gonna see a Kava casino and
you're right. Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure the locals down there love it, and I'm sure they just love the recognition.
Yeah.
Love that people are screaming bula around the world.
You're right. Yeah.
So
absolutely
bringing that culture. I mean, and that's how anything gets recognized and celebrated. Is people learn about it and choose to
That's
adopt
what I say.
it.
Education fixes everything.
Yeah.
Any changes?
Definitely learning about this today. Like talking before the show, he was telling us stuff, and it was interesting because it was that hippie drink. I always thought but that's definitely a lot deeper than that. And
is it made like a tea, or is it fermented? Like, how is it?
No, it's not fermented. What it is, it starts off at the root of the Kava plant, then it gets grounded up into a powder, and then it gets packed. And so when we place our orders, it comes in kilos. So we'll order 1,000 kilos, which is a ton at a time. We'll do both.
That's a pallet.
We do big containers of kilos coming in through the port, and but they, we once we receive it, then it's all been quarantined too. It's all been checked and everything. So what we do too is when we make our Kava, we grind. It's already been grounded up into that powder. So what we do is we knead it and strain it, and to pull the Kava lactones and the strength of the Kava out of it. What it has is it does have a little starch in it, so you're pulling that out. It's high on fiber, and what we do when we wash it and knead it, and we get the wash it a few times, and that's Kava. It takes about an hour to do it.
Wow. It's
Yeah.
quite the
Making
process.
mozzarella. You know?
It's not like you just get the powder and you put it in a drink and whip it up and
Yeah.
drink it. It's not like that. There's a little process to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just like any raw ingredient, you probably have to do some kind of, process
Yeah.
with it.
We don't add any preservatives to it. So we want it to be pure to where if you don't drink it after a couple days, it's going to go bad and it will start fermenting. You know? So
That'd be fantastic. A Kava kombucha or something. Who knows? Who knows where it could go?
Who knows?
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the lesson has been great. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, it's I just wish you guys the best.
Yeah.
So here's some more
Yeah.
locations, a lot
Yeah.
more success,
All
live
right.
music.
Hula.
Yeah.
Bula.
What's next for Island Root?
Bula.
Yeah, Bula.
Well, we want to expand a little more. My business partner down south, John Sheely, is we have our 5 down there, and we're the right area is in front of us. We're gonna open up more, and like we said before, I'm picky where we go. We're not more like single standing buildings look great. We like that downtown areas.
Definitely.
Yeah. So what works for us, and that's what we're doing. We have a great group of employees. We probably have about 70 employees now. And just here in Brevard County, we have about 30 employees. Plus, I have my warehouse with 4 employees out there where everything gets bought from my company there, and it branched out to all the businesses. We ship it out through FedEx, and each business once a week, the manager of each location has to purchase their order, and they come to work on Monday. They see that the orders need to go out that day to get to each bar, all 8 bars, and it gets shipped out.
Fantastic.
Excellent.
A smooth operation going.
Yeah, very organized.
Yeah.
We got a good little system running now.
Yeah.
And what's your hours?
There's different hours, different ones. There's one of them we have open 24 hours a day in Royal Palm Beach. Wow. We have some of them we've opened up at 8 o'clock in the morning. And up here we're at 10 a.m. we open, and we're open till about 3 in the morning.
Wow.
Wow. Oh, that's cool.
So
Yeah.
plenty
that's
of
a great
opportunity.
alternative to the bar, then.
yeah.
You still.
Every one of our bars up here, we
Yeah.
have
That's awesome. I didn't know
the
you
Nitro Coffee from Wicked Pineapple. I buy the kegs
Great
from
people.
him.
Yeah.
And
Good
through
coffee.
Brian,
Yeah.
great coffee. Is Nitro Coffee. It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, they're fantastic. What about the west coast of Florida?
Oh, there's a lot of Kava bars over there
Is
that
there
opened
really?
up. When I opened up the one here in Melbourne, there was only one that was just opened up in St. Pete, and
gotcha.
right now there's tons of them over there.
Is that right?
There's got to be all over 100 of them over there now.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy market. Is that because of the students? Like,
It's just the new thing that people are recognizing that
Okay.
it's something to do different. And like you guys were saying earlier, like these young kids want to do something different, and they want to rebel, and they don't want to go to the bars. They want to do something different, all different alternatives.
yeah, because I bet putting them near a not just a city center but also like a campus.
Yeah.
I mean UCF. I mean so many students. USF. I'm sure there's lots of opportunity. Still,
So this is still
it
pretty
seems like-
saturated in Florida, though. Sorry,
It's not really. I mean, there's still areas that you still can't.
but I mean,
Yeah.
like other states, is it? Have you seen?
there's a lot of states that don't even know what Kava is. They
Yeah.
don't even exist.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
so
imagining
it's a
Alabama
Florida
or Mississippi.
Yeah, you don't. There's no Kava bars
No,
there.
I'm not
No.
expecting a whole lot of that culture there.
Montana or South Dakota or
Probably not that culture either.
Nah.
Yeah,
Just sounds like
No.
opportunity to me.
you got to find the hippies. You got,
Yeah.
North Cal or something.
Yeah.
It's just
Well,
one
like
thing
you
you
said,
always
the-
got to
the
worry
colleges,
about.
yeah.
Too, is
Asheville.
these South Pacific Islands, they're only so big,
Right.
So there's only so much kava that can be made.
Yeah, I
so
feel
we
you
have
there.
to be careful
Yeah.
of how many kava bars and respect them and respect the islands,
Yeah.
respect the Polynesians and what they're doing.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Definitely.
I do it more for the community than anything, and the people,
Mm-hmm.
and helping people, and the gathering it does, and the friendships that I've created. I've watched people meet at my bar,
Mm-hmm.
and they've gotten married. They have family today. It's changed their lives.
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
excellent.
I love it.
Awesome testimony.
Yeah. So at the festival, November 5th, you can stop by the Island Root Kava Bar stage. That'll be on St. Clair, close to the Civic Center. BMX will be going off there. It's our anti-bullying BMX sessions. There'll be some other food trucks, but you can also stop by the Island Root Kava Bar drink truck.
Yep. We'll be there.
That'll be right by the main stage, by the Against the Grain Tattoo main stage. And then you just creep down Highland a little more towards Montreal Ave, and you come to the Island Route Kava Bar. So plenty of opportunity to get involved and learn a little more, or just come out and have some fun and see the culture a bit. So yeah, we appreciate you participating and helping us out.
Stuff, yeah.
It's looking forward to more in the future.
Yeah.
Excellent.
You ever had it before, Steve? Have you drank?
I've had it before.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
I was hanging out with this girl once that was into it. So, so I tried it.
Yeah, nice.
And it's exactly like we were talking about. The first time you try it, it's more, what is this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it really isn't a bad taste
no,
to
just
it.
what is
It's
this?
not a
Yeah.
strong bad taste. It's just and then
It's an acquired taste.
yeah, it is. Just like coffee, I would think.
Yeah.
But it's good stuff.
Yeah.
And I was glad you told me about my tongue going numb. I was wondering what that was. So it was
It's a side effect.
yeah. I was wondering.
Excellent. Perfect. Now, Brian, paging Mr. Herman,
Hello.
My Dearest Friend.
Yes.
Playing on which stage?
Intercoastal. Both bands are playing there.
Yeah, back
so,
to back.
6:40, paging Mr. Herman. Then 7:20 is My Dearest Friend. So
Excellent. Yeah,
they'll make changeovers a lot easier too, since I'm in both bands. There,
Yeah.
So. And so is the drummer of Paging Mr. Herman. So.
Yeah, Paging Mr.
Andrew.
Herman is one of my top 5 bands in the area.
Oh, wow. Thanks, man.
The songwriting is ridiculous.
Oh, wow.
Like,
I appreciate it.
in a very good way.
Thank
like if you're into bands like Cake and those types of
love Cake.
interesting songwriting, lyrics, I mean, that's Paging Mr. Herman
Oh, wow.
to me.
Thank you. Yeah, I love Cake. We all love that band Cake. They're great. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Meat
like
Puppets.
tons of-
I hear a little
Love
influence.
Meat Puppets.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually saw Meat Puppets a long time ago with Primus, and they affected me. Like, they were better than
Two great
Primus
bands.
almost,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I didn't expect what I saw, and they're Meat Puppets.
They're that
was-
diamond. Like,
They are.
no one really
Great
knows who Meat Puppets
songwriting,
are, but the people that
weird.
know who Meat Puppets are
Yeah.
like,
They've been around for like
Yeah.
decades.
Yeah.
Like they've been
around
making
a
music
long
for a
time.
long time.
Yeah, in the 80s they started, I believe, and
Yeah.
then they're like a desert band with 2 brothers that did a lot of acid, I think. So, it's but they're cool. Their harmonies. I was really into Meat Puppets a lot a while back. Yeah.
Excellent.
That's cool.
Now, so the name Paging Mr. Herman, I mean, we all know, who Mr. Herman is.
Yeah.
But how did you guys internalize that? How did you,
I was trying to find a band. I was in My Dearest Friend first. We started, I was with them. I joined them as a bass player, and then I had my own songs, which I've always been writing since I started playing music at 14. And so I wanted to do those, and so the guitarist in My Dearest Friend, Jim's, he switched with me and played bass, and I would play guitar. So I needed a band name, and I'm just a Pee-wee Big Adventure guy.
Yeah.
I've
Great
always loved
movie.
it. Yeah, and I always that line at the end, how he does it, and he's so awkward, and he looks
Mr.
at
Herman.
the camera, and like his voice is low. It's the totally just like weirdness of that.
Yeah.
Like, it's creepy weird, and it just stood out. So I always had that. I wrote it down a long time ago, and when I had this going on, I was like, let's call it Paging Mr. Herman. It works. People are always like, they'll do the Pee-wee laugh, or they'll reference it, and it kind of sticks in their head, I think, a little more because of that. You have that movie reference. So
Well, and the name fits the band. It fits the what the music you guys are creating, but it's not a Pee Wee Herman band.
No,
like,
unfortunately not. We, in the early stages, we have tracksuits now, but in the early stages, there was almost a moment where we were gonna wear those gray suits with the bow tie. But I was like, I'm not. It's not about Herman, Mr. Herman. It's that idea of just like fun and just silliness, because he's just so silly, and like, and that's what we are. There's not much seriousness in our band. It's to be fun. Now there's love songs, maybe like here and there, new songs that are coming out, but overall, it's just supposed to be like just fun, man. That's what I think most people just want to do right now, and listen to stuff not too heavy. I mean, I listen to heavy stuff, but it. Like, just the idea of it, like, it's hippies versus bear is an example of, hippies getting attacked by bear. Like, what's the, I don't know how it came about, but it works, and people.
I was about to ask, where do you come up with the ideas for these interesting songs?
I I'm not good at writing lyrics, so I have to come up with a subject. And so one day it just hit me. I was like, all right, we'll do a bear attack. And then somehow the word hippie got in there, and that was it. So, but yeah, most of the songs, like our 2 new songs are about my wife. The one's about meeting her 20 some years ago at school, and then the other one's like kind of an apology song, but it's kind of so open that it could be for anybody. It's not just, necessarily for her. It's for anybody that you might have had, not been the nicest to at some point.
Yeah.
So.
I write the same way. I'm more of a topic guy, and so the lyrics
helps for me.
Yeah. Maybe that's the student in me. Like I said, I'm in education, so having a topic really.
Well, I think mine thing was Beatles. They Paul McCartney always used names. Like he would put these, and it really helps me write if I use someone else and I use like a story and kind of just create a story off somebody else's life or something. Right. Even though it's probably mine.
Yeah, when someone says something or I hear something interesting, I'll write it down and then it's stored. And I'll come back to that.
It doesn't have to be your thoughts necessarily. I think that's a good thing to grab other people's thoughts. That's a great idea because more people will connect with that.
Yeah, so, definitely.
Yeah.
Now, how long has Paige and Mr. Herman been a band?
I'm trying to think. My Dearest Friend was probably about 10 to 11 years, and then we started like 3 years. So 8 years. It was Andrew and I just playing. Actually, we started in downtown Ugawi. There was a little restaurant, and it was just me and him in the corner of this like fancy restaurant, and we played cover songs. And it was fun, and we had originals and stuff. Right. But, so then we added the bass player after a while. Jim's, we just said, can you just play bass here? And he did. And so that was about 8 years now. During COVID, we tried to keep things going. We switched. We had the drummer leave at one point and took a little hiatus. So I recreated Herman with a new bass player, Pat. Yeah. And so he's there now, and he brought a lot of video editing skills. So during COVID, Andrew came back, and we just started doing silly home videos. Yeah, I mean, that's our thing. Like, it's just a fun little, and, hopefully people watch them. It's just, they're silly. We're dad band. Everything about it. So there's not much of a serious bone in us, except we love, trying to play
Patrick
good music.
Seems like a great fit.
Yeah, he really came in, and, he's that silliness we needed, to let go. Pat's he's really good, especially with his videoing, and I think it's just his willingness to let go. And Andrew and I are kind of more reserved, I think, in a lot of ways. So Pat will do the faces, but we are all silly. It's just a different silliness that comes.
Sometimes
out.
I think my guys would like me to get a little, like, I'm the opposite of what you're talking about. Like, everything that I write is so serious. The guys are like, oh, great, another song is about this, and who you angry at today, Steve?
I mean, that's but that's, if that's what you're feeling, you got to write that. You can't just write a silly. That might not work with your thing. It might not.
No one
come
ever
across.
told Zach De La Rocca to write.
Exactly. Hey, can we write non-political songs? No, exactly. That doesn't work. And that's what I think. Even if I write a serious song, there's always going to be silliness in it because I can't. It's hard to be serious for longer than like 5-10 minutes.
Your singing voice lends itself to be able to really do whatever you want. You have a great singing voice.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
It's accessible in a lot of different ways.
Wow. Cool.
So
I very much appreciate that. I love singing. That's why I play guitar. That's why I write songs, because singing helps me really my soul, like, just kind of it just gets something out, like, it's a weird release. That's really my only healthy release.
It's self expression,
and it's just something about like the blood flowing and just like getting. I mean, you're strong voice, man. Like you're screaming, and that just something about it does something in your head, and just that's why I do. I love singing, and so there could be 5 people at a show. I get to sing. I'm happy, and I love to play.
Where'd the tracksuits come from?
Oh yeah, that's my favorite part of the Herman story so far. We were doing Steve Keller was doing Brevard Live magazine. had said that, hey, why don't you get some pictures together? Why don't you do something with like old Beastie Boys? And so it's like, okay. So I started looking stuff up, and they came up. Like, I like old Beastie Boys. I'm from the Licensed Ill, and so it came up with the tracksuits and the boombox, and I was like, oh wow, like, because as a band, you're always trying to think of like outfits. Maybe some bands don't, but you see those bands that are like the Hives. Their suits are awesome. There's so many. Even the White Stripes had the black and red, and it's like there's so many bands that if you could find a cool outfit, like, and I always wanted to do that, like to have a uniform thing. So it's like, oh, that's a band, especially when we're walking around Space Coast, you'll notice us.
Right.
I mean, it will be a different tracksuit, because we are premiering our new tracksuits on that day.
Awesome.
So no, and Steve said, why don't you do pictures like that? And so we ordered these tracksuits, and and we took these pictures with boom boxes and us doing almost the same poses as Beastie Boys in a lot of their old photos, and it worked. And then we sent it in, and then the editor or so called Steve, and he goes, what are these dudes doing in tracksuits and a boom? Like, how? What are they doing? Luckily, Steve was like, that was me. That was my idea, and that was it. Though we wear them every show.
Yeah.
We're very committed. Yeah, it's so. It did bring us all together.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be wearing this normally on today, but I have to. I came here and I was like, I got to throw in my. It's part of paging Mr. Herman now.
Right.
So
Yeah.
and it's a good little get up. We wear head to toe. Well, we wear the same shoes, the same exact tracksuits.
Right.
Now we got our own merchandise, so we got our shirts. So
pick it up at the fest.
Yeah, $10 T-shirts. Who's selling T-shirts for $10 nowadays?
Not us.
It's crazy. So, what do you sell? But no, it's we'll have those, and we have buttons, pins, and stickers, things like that. But we're really excited. We love the Space Coast Music Festival. We try to promote the heck out of it, even though we don't have to, because there's so many people that come and stuff. But we just love the idea of having that big show, once a year like that.
Yeah.
It's great, man. It's how much I love it. So
Right, yeah.
yeah. I mean, we always talk about it. So it's
So are you the driving force with the songwriting?
Yeah, I'll do.
And then James is the driving force
of My Dearest Friend. Yeah, we're totally different. I play bass in My Dearest Friend and ukulele because we do acoustic stuff now. Jim's his voice is totally different. My Dearest Friend and paging are totally.
Well, and for a while they were having all the same band members and sounding completely different.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
It was interesting. It shows your guys' talent.
Oh,
really,
thanks.
Yeah, to be able to just turn that switch.
I love all different types of music. I was listening to 68 on the way over here, and then I told you, which I don't tell many people, that like Fish. I loved Fish stuff. It's like from everything, and that's important. I think you could grab from everything, and like Mr. Bungle is a great combination of all those. Yeah. It's 1 minute you're listening to jazz, and then it's metal, and then it's rock and
Mike
surf
Patton's
rock.
a genius. Yes.
Everything Mike Patton does.
It really
amazing.
is. Faith No More. I saw that was my first show I ever saw.
Yeah.
They were touring Angel Dust.
Oh,
and it was
great album.
insane. Yeah, Helmet opened up.
That's a sleeper album.
Angel Dust really
so good.
just that is their best album, I think. But I
Midlife
love
Crisis. Kindergarten.
Be aggressive.
So much good. Yeah.
So good.
So much good.
That's a great album. And so that's the important thing, just trying to get different music. And Jim's, he's a heavier side of it. My Dearest Friend is definitely, but we have an acoustic side of us too, where I play ukulele, and we kind of strip down what we do. But it's like, I don't know how to describe it. Emo acoustic, like it's weird. It's a very interesting take on things.
Sometimes you just gotta say art rock.
Art rock.
Yeah.
I'll call it alternative.
Yeah.
Can we just go back to like when people just called music alternative? Like Jane's Addiction was alternative to me. When I learned about it, I was like, oh, this is alternative music?
Right. Yeah.
No one's called alternative anymore because that's just every band.
Yeah.
Right?
It's so watered down.
Yeah. Everyone's so alternative. But but we try to do different stuff. But My Dearest Friend was my heavy bassist. 'Cause I'm a bassist at heart, but I like singing, so that's why I started doing the songwriting and learning the guitar and
completely different imagery for My Dearest Friend and all that. Like, because James is a artist in his own right.
Killer artist.
Yeah.
Check him out.
He does some live stuff with his socials, like with both his hands. He'll just start creating faces with chalk or charcoal and stuff.
Charcoal. Yeah,
it's pretty great.
Yeah, to watch him do the two hands at a time, and for all this time, I talked to him the other day about it. I thought he was lefty because most left-handers can be more ambidextrous like that, but he's not. He's right. I always thought he was lefty just because I always felt like he like that kind of lends itself to it, But yeah, his art's great, and then we could put our music to that, and it's definitely a very cool vibe. And we're just really my dearest friends. Like they are great guys. My closest friends here. So, and that's what happens with the band,
60 Foot Giant are my best
Yeah,
friends.
man,
I love
doubt.
those guys.
Yeah, they're definitely
do anything for those guys.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's a great kind of like the Kava bar. You get this group of people, this camaraderie, and it's so important.
That's what I was going to say. I've never heard your band before, and when it came on for the introduction for the podcast, I was like, wow, that really drew my attention.
Oh, cool.
And like maybe we can put something together and play at O'Galley or downtown.
Yeah, definitely. We're always looking for places to play. Paging Mr. Herman, we try to be like a family-friendly band. There's no cursing in our song. I don't do that. I just try to come up with other words. But because I have kids and I want them to hear the songs, and that was always an important thing. So I try not to curse. There's probably some thrown in there, but
I've always been.
It's all right.
It's very.
I'm a words are important guy. So
yes.
in all the songs I've written, I've probably sworn 5 songs.
Yeah,
4 songs.
And it's that.
But it's
when
placement.
you do it, it's
Yeah.
that much more stronger.
Right.
I think if I curse in a song, it's kind of jumps out because I never curse. So that's an important thing. But yeah, there's, especially when you're writing something, if you're talking, a lot of times the curse words slip in, filler words or whatever. But if you're writing something, there's millions and millions of words you could maybe come up with that could decide, say the same thing. So that's what I try to do. But but sometimes you need to emphasize certain words.
Express your feelings.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But again, try to be like family friendly. We could play loud, quiet, but just try to be like the Beatles are an influence. 70-year-olds to 5-year-olds can love Beatles. They're just universal in that way. So
Paging Mr. Herman is universal.
We try to be like this. Just this, it's simple songwriting, and
we talked about that earlier. That you guys are so accessible in what you do.
We try to do these silly videos, so you kind of get to know us as like, these guys are just silly, and we're very. We just have fun, and I think hopefully that comes off to other people, especially at like our live shows and stuff. We're just yell at each other on stage and get excited, and it's a fun time. So, but we're definitely excited. November 5th, 6:40, Intracoastal stage, Paging Mr. Herman, 7:20, My Dearest Friend.
Do you have anything coming out soon, like EPs, albums, or anything that just came out?
We're dropping our Baggy Pants single November 4th. It's going to be on all streaming, iTunes, Spotify, every streaming site. So November 4th, I think the pre-order might even be up on iTunes or something. But we're excited about that. We just recorded 2 new songs. We just release them as singles right now. That's what seems to be kind of the thing.
It's funny. I was having a conversation with, I forget who, not too long ago, about how we've gone kind of back to the whole 50s way
the
of,
two-side.
putting out singles is almost more important because you got to stay relevant. It's so saturated
that's the key. You can't come out with an album 3 years later. You got to keep. So we've been releasing. We released Hippies Or Spare. Now we have Baggy Pants coming out, and Apologies will come out soon after that. Okay. And I think it's. We recorded that at Sirius Studio with Jeff Stanton of Jeff Stanton Trio, and. He helped us a lot, and it just turned out I've known him a long time, and we just feel comfortable, and I think that's important when you go in the studio to make sure you feel good with people. And so, we're excited. November 4th is that single, Baggy Pants, and that's about how I met my wife. It's pretty interesting. And I wore baggy pants.
Yeah. What about My Dearest Friend?
My Dearest Friend, actually, we are releasing it. We decided last night. We had practice 12/2/22. So December 2nd, we're going to release our acoustic album, which is, I think, maybe 7 or 8 songs.
Yeah.
We had it on like SoundCloud a long time ago, but we've remastered it and got it kind of sounding a lot better.
So it's probably one of those songs that are on the compilation then, huh?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think
'cause
so.
it was
it's acoustic.
it was a ukulele song.
Yeah. So I got a ukulele when my daughter was born, and I brought it to practice. And Jim's goes, I have an acoustic song, and so we just did that, and we put a bunch of harmonies on it, and we're like, this is folky emo acoustic rock, and then we just started writing, and then we just Andrew left to go to Europe for a little while, and Jim's and I recorded the album then, and then he came back and put the drums on it, because it's very kind of minimal drums. It's more of a percussionist stuff. So, and we're very proud of that. The bass playing, it's a very full album. It's cool. So it's
Excellent.
like doo-wop almost, some of the stuff. So. But,
Now, we didn't really get into much of your history. I mean, you've been doing music for how long?
since I was 14, I got a bass on Christmas when I was 14. Changed my life. No, that's it's like you just kind of I felt like that's what I wanted to do, and joined a band. I needed a bass to join a band. 2 weeks later, I'm in a band. Then I was in that band for 4 years, playing like hardcore, heavy music.
What was the name of the band?
That was Sand, and that was up in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Gotcha.
And there was a place called Scarlett O'Hara's in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and Bethlehem, if you want to be from there. And then we would play there, and it was just crazy shows. The bouncers on the sides at 15, and just kids jumping and moshing. I mean, it was that time of scene,
awesome.
very New York hardcore was at that time, or 93 actually, that was 94. And so I did that for a while and just learned everything I can about bands, like friendship, all that other stuff, just trying to get along with people in a van driving around.
What was that big band you were in for a while down here?
Rex Goliath was, I joined them when I came down
I remember
here.
Rex Goliath.
Oh, do you? Yeah, cool. Yeah, I played bass with them forever, and that's Jeff Stanton, actually. That's who was produced our stuff.
Okay.
I came down here and didn't have anything for like 2 years. I was bummed, and then I started doing acoustic stuff, and I learned all these acoustic songs. I bought a guitar over at here at what's it called?
Florida
The
Discount.
Florida Discount, when it was
Yeah.
Florida Discount Music. Bought my guitar and set up a PA and started practicing like 3 hours a day just so I could do like open mics and stuff. And I was going to go out to places like that. And then I saw an ad for Rex Goliath. They needed a bass player. So I dusted that off and did that for, 6-7 years we played. And we did a lot. We did 3-4 times a week. We played up every bar on the beach. St. Augustine, Fort Lauderdale. We kind of burned ourselves out. But it was a mixture of cover songs and originals, so we could fill 4 hours. So we would go in there and take a whole night at a bar, and it was it paid the bills on like our practice spaces and stuff. And I became a bass player again.
Yeah.
It was like, oh man, I just love bass. It's like a feeling,
Definitely.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, it's just so, I don't know. I'll never feel the same. Like a guitar's fun. Again, you could sing with that, but bass, when you hit that note, it's just
It's that groove.
it's deep. It's deep.
Guitars, chords and solos, and the bass is just that bottom line.
That rhythm.
Just that-
Yeah.
And it's like
Dun,
nice.
dun, dun, dun.
I usually only am in 3-piece bands if I play bass, because I want to be that. I want to be heard. Number one,
Power trios. Yeah.
yeah, power tree, and you connect those two things of rhythmic and the notes and stuff, and it's such a perfect place to be. Like really trying to like group these two people together, the drummer and the guitarist, and it's really important. And bass gets like it's easy to play or whatever, but then you have people like David Pastorius who
Take it to another level.
that's a 0.1%, in the world that pick up bass that could do
Jocko's
it.
nephew, I mean,
yeah, exactly. I mean, there's so many
was born.
few bass players like that. Yeah, it's and sometimes that doesn't happen, but and sometimes they won't pick it up because of that.
Yeah.
The fear of like living up to Jocko, but David's amazing. Always. And we used to play with Elephant Gun. Rex Goliath played with Elephant Gun everywhere. So I'd have to follow his bass playing or something. And I'd be like, oh man. The one time he asked me, he said, "Oh, let me try that bass," like at a sound check, and there were people there, and he's just did all this stuff, and he's like, "Oh, here you go," and I was like, "Yeah." I walked away.
Ready to walk away.
Yeah, what am I supposed to do after that?
You
dude?
ruined it for me.
Just hit the E and like, but yeah, and that's the important. Like that bass playing is like so awesome, and So I like get to do both of that, and yeah, music's just that's my passion. People ask you what you do like in life. I always find it weird that you say your job first, and you don't say your passion. Like what do I do? Number one, I'm a dad. Number two, I'm a musician. Number three, I sell real estate. But I mean,
I was talking to Lisa Murphy at Against Grain Tattoo about that not too long ago, and she's like, "How would you, you do so much? How would you describe yourself? What would you, if you had one word to describe yourself?" She's like, "Are you a musician? Are you a singer? Are you a teacher?" And I said, "I think I'm a student. I mean, I think that's
learning everything."
Yeah.
No, it's a good point, man. Yeah, it's just hard to like. What do you say first if who you are is not necessarily who your job is? That's the funny thing. So, what do? I have fun, play with my kids, take care of my kids and my family, and then play music and do my job to make sure everything's paid for and stuff. But I think COVID changed a lot. Like, what's important now is not necessarily just having a bunch of money or anything, but I get to spend time with my kids and making sure that that's just really important. Like, they're the next thing, like you said. You see these kids, and it's like, we need help in this world, and the next generation's probably our only chance. So I'm hoping that we kind of point them
COVID
in
was a
the
wake-up
right
call
side.
for a lot of people.
Yeah, man. It actually de-stressed me. I was probably a lot more stressed and anxious and stuff, and then I kind of realized everyone was in that same situation as me, like kind of just being stuck, and so I kind of felt a lot better. And then Herman stuff helped, man. We were wearing masks and shooting videos next to each other. We were doing green screen stuff. We have Christmas videos where we're doing green screen, and it looks like we're next to each other, but because we were so safe, we were trying to be really safe, but the whole time we were doing videos and making music, and that's I think the time we grew the most, especially because Pat was newer and stuff too.
Paging Mr. Herman, My Dearest Friend, Intracoastal Stage. You can see all of the lineups on our spacecoastrocks.com website. Maps, parking information, that's all coming. And we also have it on our socials. We are working with a team that's going to help us, that you can get it on your cell phone.
Oh, nice.
When you log into the EGAD Wi-Fi.
Yep.
So you'll be able to pick up a lot of this right from your
Will you be able
cell
to
phone.
put the bands you want in a certain area so you know exactly what stage you need to be at? No, that's a little advanced.
That's why you go to the website ahead of time.
I do that the night
map
before.
yourself.
I do. I look at the list of bands and I go, okay, and I mapped it out last year, and I still probably missed about 3 or 4 of the bands.
You're not going to get to see
no.
all it's tough.
It's some are playing while we play and stuff like that.
Yeah. What time does your band come on?
6:40 at Intracoastal and 7:20 right after is My Dearest Friend.
Okay.
Yeah, back to
I'll
back.
definitely come by and see you.
Good.
Yeah.
that'd
And
be
you,
great
and you
to
guys
see.
are going to be there the day before, right?
Yeah, the Best Fest 15.
Yeah, Steve Keller's band, Best Supporting Actors, putting on a pre-party
Yep.
at Intracoastal. Paging Mr. Herman will be there. Pineapples will have a pre-party. They're going to do some raffles and some have some DJs out. And then those 2 stages will continue on Saturday after the fest, just because they can, So even when the festival ends, the fun still keeps going. November 5th, we have pre-event yoga starting at 10:30, and then the music and vendor alcohol sales start at
Kava
noon.
too.
Yes,
That's right.
And Kava too. Kava too, definitely.
Don't forget the Kava.
Don't forget the Kava.
No.
Yeah. So come out. It's going to be a great time. We got BMX tricks. We got food trucks. We have Kava. We have vendors. There's going to be a family zone. So bring the kids. Just a good day of original local music. Remember that Harbor City Local is a 501c3 nonprofit. We do these events and promote community, and any proceeds that we can get from that, we bring back to the community or start some educational initiatives like our scholarship program for kids that can't afford lessons. We have instruments that if you cannot afford an instrument and you need some help, we can help you with that. And we're working on our career and culture school for those types of kids that might not be exactly college focused right off the bat, but we want to give them a success story themselves. So we're working on those types of ideas. Come up and say hi. I got a bunch of high fives and hugs. I'm sure they do too. Island Root Kava, and paging Mr. Herman. Thanks, guys, for being here.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you for inviting us.
And one more time,
Good stuff.
Bula.
Yeah.
Bula.
Bula.
Yes.
And we're going out with Considered Awake.
My Dearest Friend.
It's never happy because every nightmares. It tries to wake him, but she's already sleeping. Doesn't hurt if you're asleep. Doesn't hurt if you're asleep. Doesn't like it that he's a bit creepy. He doesn't talk much, he's always sleepy. You can't fail if you don't try. You can't fail if you don't try.